Arturo Dark Knight. He's one of our best listeners. Oh, UV.
Okay.
UV? Did you just say UV?
Why is there a chicken in my parking lot?
And hello, everybody. Welcome back to another Archie Wednesday night stream on this Hump Day celebration. The longest running live stream in the Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes is coming to you live with your man with the plan, Ranger J 1999. Welcoming you guys into another Wednesday night show where we're bringing you the greatest and latest Star Wars news and notes and give you a little bit of insight and what it all means as we interact with you crazy Momo Frackers. That being said, we've got the Mad Chad Lad himself. Well, his head somewhat up on the little bit of his head. He shrunk. He's shrunk. There he is. The one and only Clayton Chad Lad Karthik is here.
Yes, I am.
And this time he knew how to push the button. Make sure that there it is. Okay. Yeah. We were up to some bullshit. There it is.
I was busy.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know.
Now you see, evil will always triumph.
Sure, Lord Helmet.
Because good is dumb.
Good is dumb. Thank you, Lord Helmet, and thank you for the $11.27 donation from the aforementioned Clayton. He says weapons for the whaling. Well, I won't see that for 3 months, but we do have some whaling we will be doing tonight. Because why? Because there's not much to cover today, Clayton, in the news. There's not a lot of news, buddy.
Well, I mean, the surprising there was a lot in the news that wasn't in the news by the fact that they did stuff that they didn't really announce in the announcement. I don't know. There was more going on in the data mines than there was anything else. Yeah, so that was fun.
I guess. Yeah.
Well, I mean, the Grand Inquisitor got added to the Journey Guide, and we got that.
That's in the news. It's in the news. Yeah.
Is it? Yeah, I just miss everything.
Yeah, it's in there. It says right there.
I
Journey
can't
Guide
read the
update.
news.
Grand Inquisitor added.
Oh, see, I suck at this.
Yeah, see, that's why the unprofessional Ranger shall give the news to the fans just as they want it. So, if you're new to the stream, welcome aboard.
Oh, it's in red. Screw you. It wasn't there at the beginning. They edited that.
Good reporter checks their sources. But anyway, welcome to the show, guys, where we have fun doing stuff in the game. Not a lot going on tonight. Going to be a shorter stream. We'll hang out with you a little bit. We'll cover what was put out in the news and notes. It wasn't a lot in this update today. And mainly I'm just going to spend the time Q&A. Now, just a quick update for my schedule for tomorrow morning. Typically, I run the lunch stream at 11 Central, 12 Eastern. I might be a little bit late on that. I do have my VA appointment tomorrow. Sometimes those go quick. Sometimes they want to do a bunch of tests. So if I can be there on time, I will. And that's when we'll knock out GSC. If I can't be, then I'll be a little bit later. But we'll see get the lunch stream in tomorrow and get that taken care of. And then tomorrow night, I'll be on with Nev. Now, Friday is still up in the air. I may be outside. I got to see. I'm probably most likely going to be outside all day. But we will, if I don't get a lunch stream in, then we definitely will get happy hour in. We definitely want to get happy hour in. So we'll have happy hour and do some more GSC with you guys on Friday. So one way or the other, you'll get plenty of streams. Plus, of course, we have the Jedi Academy on Saturdays where we have a Q&A session for 2 hours with all the content creators that want to come aboard that day. It's an open forum for the content creators to come in and answer all your questions. It's a Q&A show. It's really fabulous. Speaking of Q&A, we will be doing that tonight for you guys with the news and notes that's coming in or anything else that's on your mind. As always, we encourage you guys to give your greetings, say hi to me, say hi to Clayton, say hi to all the skewers. If you have a question you want to pose to myself, Clayton, or anybody else, put that in the chat. Make sure you put the word question in front of your actual statement or question you want to ask. So question space and whatever you want to say, and we will get that read off and or answered to the best of our abilities. It's a pretty simple format, and all we ask is that you just have fun, sit back, and enjoy the content, and let the awesome, wholesome RSG goodness wash all over you and cleanse thy soul. And if you believe that, then I'm drinking Kool-Aid. All right.
Flavor of Kool-Aid there, but
yeah. Good Kool-Aid minus the Kool-Aid water and or anything else.
Massive amounts of sugar.
Yeah. No, actually, this is Dr. Pepper Cherry, 0 sugar, 0 calories. So it's
So it's still minus the massive amounts of sugar.
Well, no, it has no sugar. There's no sugar in this.
That's why I said
it's 0 sugar.
That's what I said. It's minus the
massive
massive amount.
I thought you said. I missed the minus. I just heard massive amounts of sugar.
Because that's how I remember making Kool-Aid back in the day.
Oh, I know, right? You had to.
Cup after cup of sugar. Oh my God,
Have you ever
diabetes.
had Kool-Aid without sugar?
That's a story for another time.
It's just really nasty.
The things we dared each other to do in high school.
Might as well call it red drink at that point. Green drink. I think there's apple in it, but I can't tell because it tastes like ass or aspirin. All right. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to cover the news real quick. Clayton, before he leaves, he has to leave here in about 20, 30 minutes.
Something like that.
We are going to do some whaling. He wants to do some whaling action for you guys tonight. So we're going to buy a couple of packs, as is tradition, and I probably will get horrible results. But, you guys love seeing it, so I love doing it. And then we'll just do Q&A. So get your questions in. Pretty simple. We'll stream for a little bit tonight, and then we'll get more streams in during the week. That's what we do to our stream. We just stream. We're always streaming, and when I'm not streaming, I'm either working on other stuff or I'm outside slaving away like it was today. And I feel exhausted, but it's okay. I've got bourbon and Schroeder, so I'm good.
So many streams going on, people would think we're at a party.
I know, right? It's a stream party. So hello to everybody in the chat. See you guys coming in slowly but surely. Get your ass in here. The water's fine. Nobody peed in it. There's no blue stains or anything in the water. It's cool. Come on in. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're fine. Get in here. It's cool. All right. Let's get to the news. Brought to you by Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes from Capital Games from our good friend Tuscan Meathead. He says, hello, Holotable Heroes. Well, hello, Meathead. How are you? He says, today's update has been rolled out on all devices. Please read below for all the items in this release. And it was a small release, but there was some stuff in there. So first of all, we had fixes. I'm going to read these. Normally I don't, but I mean, there's not much else to read, so I will read these anyway. We had Illum Global Modifier Test of Strength. Applies extra stacks of clarity on units when they are in transformation. And then the other global modifier from the Illum Test of Strength applies extra stacks of hesitation on units when they are in transformation. Or they use transformation. B1 Battle Droid's battalion ability doesn't state that B1 is immune to bonds of weakness, so bonds of weakness shall not be something B1 can get slapped in the face with. The description of the feat, War Made Manifest, doesn't state that the characters need to survive the battle, so I guess that's been fixed. Corrected an incorrect asset on Sorty's Comicron targeted highlighter that was showing as potency up. Well, that's been fixed. And then Fifth Brother, Unique 1 description update for an inflicting provoked. So there we go. So in other news, we have the Journey Guide update. Grand Inquisitor has been added, and you can see that in the game. If you go to the Journey Guide, you can see Grand Inquisitor is there. We don't have anything on his kit or when the events. We know the event's coming in June, but we haven't been able to get any other information. We probably won't get any. Maybe we'll get some next week at Star Wars Celebration. Probably maybe not till June, but it's in there. It's just to be updated, so we will see what happens. Dark Pursuit. And this is a modifier for the Inquisitor's faction tag to be used in Galactic Challenge. So there's a Galactic Challenge coming out tomorrow. And they just says that the ally leaders Inquisitors, whenever they use an ability during their turn, they inflict a stack of Purge, max of 6, on the target enemy. Whenever Purge expires, summon an enemy, they gain stack of Fatigue, which can't be copied, dispelled, or resisted. Whenever an ally defeats an enemy, all enemies are afflicted with 5 stacks of Fatigue. At 20 stacks of Fatigue, Inquisitor allies gain Coup de Grace, which cannot be copied, dispelled, or prevented. Fatigue is -2 speed and 2% tenacity. What does Coup de Grace do? On the next special attack, deal true damage equal to 80% of the target's max health, and dispel Coup de Grace from the Inquisitorious allies, and dispel fatigue from all enemies. I'm just going to say this now. I don't think we'll do quite well on that one tomorrow. We'll do it tomorrow or Friday when it comes out. We'll look at it, but
I mean, I will.
Yeah, you will. Ranger won't.
I bet you, girl.
It's just going to throw that out there. Okay, so that's the news. That's it. That is all we got for the news today. I've been checking to see if anything was coming out. I thought maybe we'd get 8 Brother this week. Doesn't look like that's going to be the case. So, yeah.
They got to drop both at the same time now, though, because that's...
You would think, but we've seen stranger things happen there, my friend.
Well, because if they want to do the event by the end of June, the characters got to be free to play farm. Well, no, they can. That's right. No, they'll be at their 1 month. No, they'll be free to play farm for at least 2-3 weeks beforehand.
Yeah.
As much as I don't. Yeah, they still. I mean, Fifth Brother still got 9 days in the store.
Yeah.
So that usually doesn't rotate till the pack comes out. So they'll probably do 8th Brother next week, and then Fifth Brother will go.
So
that will be shipments. Oh, no, that doesn't work.
Well, I'm just
He's
saying.
Not even in shipments yet.
Listen, I'm just here to do the news. You geniuses out there can figure out the math. That's all I got to say. I'm not here for that math stuff.
Well, it's just cadences, but yes, I agree.
It is what it is. But my Inquisitors are coming along quite nicely. Conquest, I hope everyone got good loot in their red crate. As you can see, Malgus is already on my favorites because he will be mine. Oh, yes, he will be mine. Malgus is at 130 out of 330. Look at him. Look at his bald head. Look at him. He's spitting. Oh, shit. He's spitting. So Malgus is well on his way. I just got to get 2 gold crates and I'm happy with my life. I'm trying to think of anything else that was going on. No, that's it. That's basically what we're going to do. Question. Hello to everybody in chat. Afraid who got our first question from Kimpachi says, is the Grand Inquisitor event permanent or reoccurring? I don't know. It's in the journey guide, so I would think it would be reoccurring. Yeah.
They stated already that he will be similar cadence to like Jedi Knight Luke Skywalker.
Oh, that's
be about it.
Yep,
about every 3 months you'll see him come around.
Well, let's try to get him the first time then. It's gonna be tough, but we're gonna go for it. Ew, gross. So I've got a month basically to get all these guys squared away. I can do it. Yeah.
I'm here for you.
Yeah, let's do it. All right. As I said, that's the news. You see, I've got the game pulled up because that's all the news we have for tonight. So there'll be Q&A hanging out with you guys, answering your questions. But Clayton, being the mad Chad lad that he is, wants me to do some exploitative purchasing on Galaxy of Heroes.
Like I'm really twisting your arm here.
Really
You
is.
just straight struggling.
I'm bleeding inside my chest, but I got the medicine. So I'm going to buy packs, but when I buy packs, I can't show it on screen. Why? Because you'll see all my information, and that's no bueno.
So we are going to get the name really is Morty.
No. So we're going to get the protocol bundle. So let me purchase that. Get it to where we can purchase it. Well, I'll pull it up right now what it is, so you can see that it's got these chance for these drops here. So we'll see if Ranger could have a good pull or a bad pull. We'll see. We're going to make 2 purchases of this.
We're hoping for 75s on each.
Well, I don't know what streams you've ever watched, Clayton, but
dude, I've done it.
You did it, true, but that's you. All right, here we go with our first one. I'm going to let it go slowly so we can see what happens. All right, we got some bundles, 25, 25, 25, 25, 25, and 25.
They all will roll the same, just so you know.
Yes. So I just want to keep saying
Once the
25.
once the first one kicks over.
Yeah.
So, well, someone's got to roll the highest base value. Might as well be you.
25, 25, 25, and 25. As is tradition.
Is that your second one or your first one?
First one, we have to do it again.
Okay.
All right, here we go. All right. Okay, let me hide the cameras.
I got 45s on both of them.
I'm sure you did.
Polls today. I showed you evidence.
I know. I believe you. I know what you got. That's not me. All right, here we go.
I tried to get the weapons out already. I was trying to get that standard number out of the way.
The Illuminati doesn't care. All right, here we go. All right, our second round of pulls for these packs. Let's see what happens. Let's see what we get. Oh no, 25, 25.
Oh,
25 and 25.
sad day. I mean, that's still worth the investment.
It's still worth the investment. We're
you're still getting good value.
We're still getting some good stuff out of there. So, more furnaces, more HoloLenses, more everything. More of everything. So I got 143 furnaces. I don't know how much more I need for these Inquisitors and stuff, but I'm not stopping until I get enough to take them up to gear. God damn it. Bastards. As I said, it will be mine. Oh, yes. It will be mine. So, all right. Well, there we go. All right, get your questions in. Ray Rock, what's going on, buddy? Ovakilla, what's going on? Fatality, Kenpachi, Mr. Isalinas. What are we speculating? Well, that's what we're going to get to right now. Since we have really not much else to talk about, I thought we would speculate tonight on what the hell the next GL is going to be. The more we get stuff, the more I'm convinced it's going to be. I'm throwing my hat in the ring. I did this last year for ships. I think we're getting a Galactic Legend Leia.
I would love to see it because it's one of the only factions where they could slot it in. I just pray to God they don't make us bring up some garbage tunes.
Well, that's going to happen regardless of what GL they do. They're going to make us do some, and expect Relic 9. Now, the other one that's a second close place, second finisher there, Clayton, is True Revan. I think True Revan could be the other option.
He makes the most sense to come first in my mind over Leia. Because I feel like no matter which way they go, like they're going to bring out something that's going to be a marquee coming into this. Because if you're over, I mean, most accounts that are going to be situated for Sith Empire or Old Republic, you're gonna have most of those characters at relics to a degree. I mean, the Sith Empire, the core team, and then same thing for Old Republic, core team each way. I mean, they can be like, oh, Juhani Relic 5, and oh no, I gotta take her past Gear 11. But I don't know if there's going to be enough in there, and I feel like that's part of the reason why Sortie got the Old Republic tag, which, I mean, like, that's the one that's the biggest question mark for me, is why they chose Old Republic out of any other possible faction to be allied with. It doesn't really make sense to pick that. She didn't even need that tag. She could have just been droid and been done with it. So her having that tag kind of is the signal to me that we are looking at something for a not Old Republic faction, but the era GL is what I'm thinking. I would agree with that.
Well, someone said Satele Shan. I'm like, that ain't going to be Satele Shan.
No. If anything, my hat would be that she's the next Conquest character to pair with Malik. Would be my guess. She's too good to be a marquee. And I think she would be a good character to have that brings up the Old Republic Jedi faction, because we only have 4 Jedi to start with in that faction. She could either be the new leader or a new support to go under Revan. I mean, I don't want her to be a support. I'd rather have her lead, but still,
she'll probably be the same ilk level as Malgus. So
yeah. Super heavy GAC Omicron character, which that does seem to be what makes the money, is GAC Omicron characters. TW ones don't, and Inquisitors are the unfortunate prime case example of that.
Yeah. Now, Darth Revan brings up a good point. He says Revan and Vitiate. I kind of like that. That could work as well. Revan and Vitiate. Again, I think True Revan could be in there.
But I don't if we get a GL Revan, he can't be a light or Daigat Sergeant.
No,
he
you have to be
has
unaligned.
He has to be unaligned, but he has to be or both tags. If they cannot do neutral tag, which they have
really,
had issues with in the past, he needs to have both dark and light side, which then that solves the problem of him being viable everywhere.
Right.
And then just have him being able to lead Sith and Jedi characters, which I'm all fine, or online force, or he can be an online force user himself. He doesn't have Jedi, but I mean, he's been everything. So I could see that, but like Vitiate to a degree, I don't see them going that far out of the way for, because the problem with having 2 Old Republic GLs is we don't have the character base enough to even get the marquees or the requirements for 1.
No.
Like every GL has been 15 requirements,
and they've all been associated somehow or somewhere with the character. That's why I thought it was going to be Leia.
Yeah, or with the faction. So it's like we only have 10 Old Republic characters. We only have 8 Sith Empire characters. Malgus will be number 9.
Right.
So there's just not enough there for that even to make a second one make sense. But they did say this last year that they wanted to pull away from having pairs. They wanted to have
that's true.
They wanted to have one-offs, and this is a good reason why, because they need to start filling in faction GLs like Rebels, because they don't have one, and they need something that kind of works with that they can design that doesn't pull away from CLS, but doesn't pull from Rebel fighters, but something in that genre. But then again, in my head, that means that they need to release that team. So I feel no matter which way we go with a GL, we're going to get a marquee dump leading into it. I don't think the Inquisitors are going to go into anything.
I don't either. Because
it just doesn't make sense to go panic farm 5 Inquisitors, get Grand Inquisitor, and then like, all right, now we're going to take all 6 of these guys and GL. It's like it just seems like that would be a really huge disservice to the fan base. So my head doesn't go with them being anywhere useful. And Sortie is the first out of the 5 marquees they data mined like 2 months ago that they were supposed to come out. The character packs were supposed to come out. She's the first one. So there's still 4 more behind her that we're waiting on. So we know there's 4 more down the pike showing up. So my guess is we're going to get some stuff showing up down the road here, but we'll probably get a marquee dump coming through June and July. Leading into the next GL would be my guess.
Kenpachi question: Speculate how many Relic 9 we'll need for the next GL? 3.
2.
I think 2 would be cool, but 3 it doesn't matter. 1 is more than enough to give people the vapors, because getting Relic 9 on these characters is just getting Relic 8 on these characters is still a goddamn nightmare, let alone Relic 9. So I mean,
I'm gonna base it off of what they did with JMK and Lord Vader. So
right.
The first one will be 2, the second one will be 4.
Ugh.
Which is gross, but then that makes sense too, because a lot of the characters that they're probably, if they do like a GL Leia and do her like fall winter-esque time,
right?
If they require like Han, Chewie, CLS, or Jedi Knight Luke, like taking those characters to Relic 9 isn't the end of the world because they're pilots, or Jedi or Relic 9 Jedi Knight Luke isn't a bad investment. It's net neutral. It's not the greatest, but it's not bad because him having more protection is still not bad. I could see something like that, but it just seems like if they're gonna do a GL like a Rebel GL that already has a lot of its roster developed through the like JML requirements and everything else, it's going to be high relics. So that's my take on it, and that's what we had happen with Lord Vader. We had a huge marquee dump. We had 4 marquees come in, and then everything else was just like high relic requirements, all relic 8, relic 7 up there, and then relic 5 was like the minimum. So we know nothing's coming under relic 5 for the next next GLs. Relic 3s are done and over with. So I would say the first one, depending on how many marquees, and both would be the same story in my head, is depending on how many marquees they dump prior that they require will dictate how many R9s get in there. But Lord Vader had 4 marquees and turned around and still had 4 relic 8s. So
yeah, if it is Leia, the Rebel faction's pretty well decked out with characters that you can associate with her. And if you've done a lot of either the Jedi Master Luke or other stuff, you're going to have pretty much most of your Rebel characters relic or close to being relic if you're a veteran player. So that would be kind of nice. But I think it was kind of like with JMK. It's like we got the 2 relic 8s. And it's like, okay, but, we already had relics on those characters. Like Kenobi was already a high relic, and so was Grandmaster Yoda. So getting those characters to relic 8 was nasty, but not as bad. Vader was just a different story. Vader was absolutely grossy.
In my head, the back of my head wants to say if we do GL, because the Andor series is coming out, supposed to be end of summer, was what the new Vanity Fair
I think, right?
had said. So that's what has in my back of my head agreeing with you for Leia. Guarantee you, Rogue One and Phoenix Squad are gonna be part of the requirements, and they're just gonna bust your balls. Bust your balls on that, man. They are gonna just drag you over the irons because they're the only factions with the Rebels that nobody's gearing, because unless you're heavy into the fleets, man. Unless you're heavy, they're the only two. They're the only 2 tags that they can force.
I know you're not wrong. I just hate it. It's like, I hate when they pigeonhole players for some of this stuff, because it's like, damn. And it's not that, Phoenix, Ezra's good, Sabine's good in Mandalorians, but the other 4 can kiss my ass. You know what I'm saying? Kanan's got some uses, but
Kanan and Ezra are viable because they got Jedi tags.
Right. That's the only reason.
But outside of that, they are just...
And Sabine and the Mando is actually legit. But, other than that, God dang. And then Rogue One is garbage. I'm just going to be straight up. Rogue One is garbage.
I would say
even with the new Omicrons and stuff, it's still.
I would say that like Cassian and K2 have their niche. They do work well with countering some stuff because he has the buff immunity and heal immunity. Baze as a pre-taunt isn't terrible.
It's not really good either.
But it's not great. No, having a pre-taunt available at high relics isn't bad, but it's not.
That's why I never finished those characters.
Yeah.
I've not touched Phoenix or Rogue One at the levels they are for a long time, because they have literally no value whatsoever. Even the reason that my Rogue One is at the level it was back in the day when we were doing Hoth Darkside TB, right? You had to have that team. And, I had them at Gear 11, and they worked just fine enough to get that 4 for 4 in that final round and get the extra banners and stuff. And get the extra, get. But other than that, I wouldn't touch them, man. They are really bad teams. Phoenix together as a team is really bad. It's unfortunate. I've seen people try to make the argument with them at higher relics. Okay. But if you're going to list all the teams, you can tell me Phoenix is up there with all things being equal. Relics and Gear, Phoenix is a team you really want to put your money on? I don't think so.
The only place they even have a leg to stand on is inside of TW.
That's it.
And that is the most rotted out leg a chair could stand on and still be upright.
Yeah. Because
it's still beaten by the same crap it's beaten by. It's just harder. It's basically okay, well, yeah, take Kanan and Zeb to relic 9. Take everyone else to relic 7 or 8, depending on their tag. If they're attackers, relic 8. If they're support, relic 7. But even at that junction, yes, you have incredibly thick characters to deal with, but most teams, like Imperial Troopers, are still going to walk all over them.
Their lunch.
It's just like, most B team counters are going to work here still, because CLF, anything that does anything based off max health is going to just trash them. Most Jedi teams can trash them. It's just it's a ton of investment on a team that is not going to do it. And you always get the person who's like, well, I did it, and look at all these holds I got in TW. It's like, yeah, because you're in a 200 million GP guild, and nobody had anything for that brick wall at the back of the game. Like, no one had any GLs left. Like, that's what happened. But in any competitive guild, 400 million GP plus, that team's going to do nothing. It's going to be the biggest waste.
Nothing. The only value you get out of them is the ships. That's it.
Which is why I have them all at Relic 5.
Even then, they're not game-changing ships. It's not like in Rebels. Rebels is pretty much decided on the first move, right? And you're bringing in... Yeah, you bring in Ghost or the Phantom, right? Whichever one's the smaller one. I forget at the moment.
Phantom's a smaller one. Ghost
yeah,
is the big one.
Yeah, so you bring in the Phantom. It does what it does, even at lower gear. That's why you don't see people putting a lot of gear on there. It's like, okay, it comes in, it gets the next ship in, which is Cassian. But I mean, even Cassian doesn't need that much gear before it goes in, takes a turn, does what it needs to do.
Gear 12 is most of the investment you need for anything that's not part of your main fleet. So like Biston's U-wing is and Biston, Han, Millennium Falcon, and then Big. So the only three that you really need to, and Akbar, are the only ones you really need to invest in to have a strong team. Now, does it pull you out of much more hairy situations to have them at relics? For sure.
Sure.
Because you'll survive more hits. But that's really all you're looking at. Like, you're talking about massive gear investment for a team you probably shouldn't be using to beat, to fight the Executor in the first place. You should just develop another counter for it because it's cheaper. Or just mirror it, or, get your first order up because you're already have to invest in that team to relics. All your pilots are already at relics when you get Slacker. So it's just things like that. It's a huge out of your way thing to invest in to be the top meta when you don't need it to be. So,
yeah. So we'll see. I hope that's not the case, but it probably will be the case. And we'll be sitting there, and I'll be sitting here just shaking my head like, all right, let me just tag these in my favorites. But I'll tell you, no matter what GL they announce, I'm not stopping on Inquisitors, and I'm not stopping on Malgus. I'd rather get those characters up and running for the next GL. Then I'll go for the next GL if that's the case. But I'm not stopping what I'm doing because I've already invested too much already on this. To get Grand Inquisitor, who I think is going to be a really good tune. Malgus is Malgus. I mean, you got to be kidding me.
I think Malgus, with or without the OG Sith Empire, is still going to be a bananas team because of the Sith you can pair with him still. I mean, Malgus and Talon is already looking to be obnoxious on their own pair, let alone adding Darth Revan, Bastila, and anything else with it.
Right. I put Marauder in there just to be really gross because he'll get all that. Because I was thinking about that day, do I put Talon in there or do I put Sith Assassin? So on the fence on that, but I was like, Talon for what she does, man, she's gonna make Malgus even stupider, So
there was a guy in the Sith server doing the math on it, and so if you lose 5% of the stats that you would get from having a Sith Empire versus a Sith, but she gives way more stats and she gives Malgus a second life,
which is insane.
Which is just that right there. Those two basically, Talon is never going to go back with the Triumvirate. It's never going to happen.
No.
Her Omicron, I feel so bad about her Omicron now because the further the game has gone, the more she does not belong with that team, which is just heartbreaking for that Omicron to be there.
Well, until we get a Darth Crate.
Well, yeah, but I mean, it's still, her Omicron explicitly interacts with pain and isolate,
right? Which
are only inflicted by the two respective characters. So until her Omicron interacts with any other mechanic, it won't ever change it.
Stats and stuff and keeps her character alive. But I mean, when you're talking Malgus, it's definitely worth it because he's already a beefy boy. And he's definitely one I'm going to save up Relic 9 for. That's my next Relic 9. I've already made up my mind. I'm going to save all my resources for that. Because he's a tank. He's going to be sick. He's going to be really goddamn ridiculous.
His base stats are bananas.
Yeah.
Like, they didn't even try to hamstring him. They're just like, no, we want him to be good everywhere, but like monstrous in GAC. And I'm like, I can get behind that. Yes. I can understand that. If you want a character to be that level of good, all right. If we got more cats and malls coming out of the game at that level, all right, I'm behind it 100%. I'm on board. So
yeah, I am too. So, but you guys can let us know what you think of. Who do you think the next GL is going to be? I still say Leia, maybe Revan in the background, but you never know. We know they're coming. They're coming, guys. I mean, let's be real. There's going to be a GL, one at least one, maybe two, before the year's out. I mean, come on. I mean, we know it's coming.
Yeah.
What it's going to be, your guess is as good as mine. But if those marquee things are a thing, then getting the next GL is going to be cray-cray.
Yeah. I don't know what marquees they are, but I know Sig said that Sortie is the first out of what they marked, what are the data mine like a month or so ago. Sortie is the first one, so we know there's 4 more behind this still coming. So what their
They could be
tags are going to
ships.
be.
They could be
They
ships.
could be ships. They could be. We don't know what. Well, actually, we know their characters. To be honest, because they have character bundle in the data mine.
Okay, well then that makes it a little bit easier to predict.
So yeah, so like that. That's why they didn't count the Outrider, the Echelon, or the Resistance Bomber as any part of that data mine because they were ship bundles when they released, not character bundles.
Okay.
So.
Well, all we can do is wait and see. I mean, you guys let us know what you think. Again, we are taking questions, so if you have questions, you can pop those into the chat. I'm just chilling with you guys for a little bit tonight. Again, not a lot of news, but yeah. We'll see what they... I mean, it could be Darth Revan and Vitiate. I mean, it could be this year is the year of the Old Republic GLs, and the next year maybe they save Leia, someone said in the chat, for the 40th anniversary for Return of the Jedi. You know, Leia and maybe Jabba or something like that. That could be the case. I mean, that's why I said my first pick, I think it's going to be Leia this year, and then next year, you know, but those are the two routes I foresee happening. Now, they could throw a curveball at us, Clayton, and be like, ha, we tricked you.
I mean, that's how it went with Starkiller, man. Like, no one saw that one coming. Like, I've been sitting there going, like, I still don't believe that he's in game. And I know, right? I'm really glad that they did the character justice for what his lore is. If
you think back to a year at this time, we were just in the middle of finishing up the Bad Batch, right?
Yeah.
And so nobody in their right mind knew what was coming down the pipe and with what was coming, especially with Starkiller. I mean, nobody saw that one coming.
Yeah, I mean, we were all just hemmed in on JMK and Lord Vader.
Right.
Like, we were all focused on that.
Well, we knew about JMK. I don't think Lord Vader was speculating at this point last year.
Well, let's be honest. They announced one. We knew the other was coming.
Right.
Like it was not a surprise. Sometime in May, I think last year they did the road ahead with the JMK and the cat announcement.
Then we got Maul announcement, and then there was like, okay, all right.
Then we got Maul, and then it's like it definitely sealed in this like. So like, well, they did all the fans for now. This mechanic doesn't have any impact right now, but it will. It could. It might. Maybe. We don't know.
Yeah.
I was like, bull crap. You guys know what you're releasing in a month. But yeah, there's a lot of things where they can throw some left curves. I would be happy with, in all honesty, if we didn't get another GL this year, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with it too.
If we got a couple more legacy event characters, like we did a couple of small legendary stuff where it's like, yeah, it's 4 or 5 marquees into a legacy event, and we kind of get a cool, unique character. But if it mirrors Starkiller, where it's 4 or 5 characters that bolster factions that need the help, and then we still walk away with a good character, I would do 3 of those a year, 1 year, and the next year we do GLs.
Yeah.
And then we can go back and forth, because I think it gives players time to catch up with the GLs, because the GL grind is massive for players, especially in the lower GP brackets. And then it gives everybody else ways to plug and play and bring up teams, because like Dash's viability is just ridiculous. Talon's viability is fantastic. Mara Jade is amazing. And the best thing about a lot of these characters is that they were good at low stars.
Yes.
And low gear, they were still viable and they still help players. And that's the thing. If they do legacy events that mimic this, I think that's very healthy for the community and for the game overall. And I would be happy, and I would support that kind of movement. Yeah, it sucks that you got a whale and everything if you want it right now, but man, 3-star characters being viable for end game content, I'll take that every day of the week.
Yeah. Chewie says, question, what's the deal with Cat? I want to know. I don't know. Proving Grounds. I mean, whenever that comes out, I don't know. Chewie, your guess is as good as ours. I don't know. They need to get Proving Grounds out sooner rather than later. So I know it's around the corner. I just don't know when they're launching it.
I'm really hoping it's not launched with the road ahead in June.
I
don't think we can wait that long. It's
they need to get Proving Grounds before the next Conquest comes out.
It needs to come out with the.
Why did they take her from the store though? Because that's the cadence, Chewie. The cadence was as certain characters, these newer things come in, they're moving other things out, like Razor Crest and now Cat. But they're supposed to be doing the Proving Grounds, which is supposed to be a way for you to get the character shards, outside of the store. That's what I've been told, so I don't know. And eventually they're supposed to have their own, with Proving Grounds, have a way for you to get those characters. to make room for the other characters that are coming in that are in there right now, like Prototype and Dad Bod Boba Fett and
the
Maul
way I understood it from what they. Well, stop it.
That's right, young lady.
The way I understood it, she wants dinner, and I'm not giving it to her.
That's right.
No, the way I understood it, it's kind of be like a miniature journey guide kind of thing in my head, where it's like the characters are there if you don't have them at 7-star, and then you're able to get a certain amount of shards per week by competing in the proving grounds for those characters. I don't think they're gonna like force you to lock into just a one for each week. I think they'll let you do multiples. It seems like the most sense for them to let you do that way, and then just allow you to catch up at a certain increment each week.
Yeah.
Which, as long as it's weekly and not if it's monthly and
That
it's
sucks.
like it's not like 110 shards in a month, like if it's not what you would get from a conquest at Red Crate each month, and if they do it monthly and it's not that many shards, that's a real kick in the crotch. If it's like weekly and it's a little bit like and it still like gets you close to like 20 shards a week, something like that, where you can catch up in a reasonable time. If they hamstring it too much, it's just going to be no fun. It's just like, oh, we'll give you 5 shards a month for Cat, and I'm like, oh, thanks, man. Cool.
Thanks, that's great. It was supposed to be 20 shards monthly. That's correct, Julie. Handra says, what's the problem with adding all conquest characters in the store? I don't know. What is the problem? We don't know.
They're in the conquest store, aren't they?
Well,
Or
Chewy's saying that they removed Cat. He says Razor Crest is still there, but Cat's not in there. I don't know. I mean, I haven't really been paying attention to it, Chewy, because, well,
you have her.
I have her. I'm not thinking about her. I mean, if I look right now, is she in the store? Okay, I've got Maul and I've got Boba Fett, Sign of Django. I don't have Kit Kat.
I've got all three. I've got Boba Fett, Sign of Django, Razor Crest, and Maul. I'll even throw some crisps at us real quick and check. So doubled up on Boba Fett, Sign of Django. I still got Razor Crest.
I don't know what they're
One
doing.
more for funsies. I got Maul and Boba Fett. And I'm not going to spend 100 crystals to find out anything else after this. My guess is that they kept Razor Crest in there because Executor's part of the meta, and they don't want to, and they're not changing anytime soon. And I feel like Cat was an easy one to sit on the bench, so they can put her somewhere else. I don't know anything. I just speculate.
Wolf Elsa's question: if you get a new Star Killer type character with the marquee, is Clayton willing to keep those characters low stars to prove what he's saying, that they are viable? He doesn't need to, because there's already data on this about these other characters, Mara Jade, and these other characters that were viable. People using them at 3 and 4 stars, Gear 11 in their teams, especially someone like Mara Jade, viable. I mean, immediately viable.
I mean, in every game mode, Mara Jade was viable at
Talon,
3 stars.
Viable, 3 star.
Yep.
You know, I mean, that's already out there. There's no disproving that.
Yeah, if you could get her Gear 11, it was the best. But I mean, even Gear 8, Gear 9, just enough to survive an AoE splash to keep it alive long enough was fine for both those characters. Dash is the only one where you could probably argue it back and forth depending on the team you put him in. But I mean, Dash, Gear 11, 3 stars, you could get moderately quick. In a BAM team or with Boba Fett, Sign of Django, you were doing the Lord's work because you just needed the hits. You didn't need the damage. So 15 hits, you're automatically at 20 whistling birds with BAM. So you're set, ready to rock and roll. So, you know, and then who's left? Kyle Katarn.
And Momo teams. Even
Gear 11, 3 stars. He had enough speed to start pushing out Vader teams. You could get enough onto him to start pushing out those teams, and so it was still viable. And I would be willing to prove any of those points with the new set of teams. I wouldn't care. We'd have to look at the kits and see what they do, but anything that adds massive stat walls as a percentage based off of not their stats but just whatever, they're always going to be viable at low stars. Yeah. So you can't argue that point.
Yeah, you saw that.
And on that note, I gotta get the hell out of here.
Yeah, go to get her dinner. He's gonna go have dinner with the dad. So
yeah,
I will hold down the fort.
See you guys later.
I will see you tomorrow, there, brother.
We'll see you tomorrow.
All right, brother. Peace out.
Peace out.
Chewy, what would you use load Mara in 3v3? EP Vader. Yeah, just EP Vader. Give her she still works phenomenal with EP Vader. And then 5's EP Vader, Thrawn, Royal Guard. I mean, that's still a legitimate team. 3-star, 4-star, Gear 11. still kicks the shit out of stuff. It's absolutely good. And it wasn't just me, it was Nev and other people that are in those GP brackets that were telling me how good they were. And other people showing me how good they were. And it's been posted about. So it's not like these characters were not know about like how good they were. They're really good. Charlie Kanai says, literally anything laughing out loud. EP Murray is OP. Have you not been on He2 Live? Had her 3-star Gear 9 since she came out, and she is the reason I won so many GHCs so cheap and so OP. Yeah, she's a phenomenal character. Even in TW, I've seen people with 6-star Mara Jades, but they do have the Omicron. But even say EP Mara Star Killer, which you wouldn't have, is OP as shit. But I mean, even if she was low starred, you could have it with that team that way. Just think of it with the bonuses. I mean, just ridiculous. But no, those characters were very viable. As soon as they were unlocked at Gear 11, they were already being put in. I mean, Talon you put in with the Darth Revan team, he still gets the bonuses from what she does. Same thing with Mara. She was just absolutely OP with EP Vader Thrawn Royal Guard team. Scoundrel team, you put Dash not in the leader, but in the background, and he could still be very good. And then Kyle with the Momo team we saw immediate dividends on that team as well. So people are still getting value out of those characters, not at 7 stars. That just makes those teams that much better because of the stat boosts and everything that they give for those teams and those characters. So yeah, I don't gear until I get the stars usually. Yeah, I'm kind of the same boat you are. I mean, you could take them to Gear 11, but those kind of characters you do want to take to Gear 11 because you can get some value out of it and make your otherwise other teams that are good even a little bit better. Why wouldn't you? Just 5A mods. I mean, as long as you had decent mods, yeah. I mean, you don't have to have out of the world mods. I mean, they're going to do what they do. I mean, yeah. Yeah, I mean, Talon just gave the boost to Darth Revan and made him just ridiculous. Yeah, Nihilus was a good one. Iden was another character that was good at 3-4 stars, Gear 11. So there's been quite a few characters outside of those characters. Iden's another example of a 3-4 star character, Gear 11, with the team around her that does quite well. Even without the Omicron, she does quite well. God, now this lead arena. Bleh, should we get out of here? There's been a few. There's been quite a few here of late. Some characters can do that and some can't. Like, you know, the Inquisitors are good, but they really don't shine. They're an example of characters that once you do get them up in Relic, they really kick some serious ass. But before then, they're not as viable without relics. But that's just what they were designed to do. That's the group component and what their skills do. But these other characters are definitely... Some characters are like that. Some characters like Iden and these other characters are like that. Some of them are not, like the Inquisitors. Charlie says, question, have you watched the Old Republic films on YouTube and seen the twin brothers? They would be so cool to see in the game. Yes, I know all about the Eternal Twins, Arkin and Thexan. I've seen all the films, Charlie. I played Old Republic to the max, dude. I played Old Republic to the MMORPG. I beat every character story. I had every single piece of gear. I beat every raid. I did all the PvP. I did all the stuff in that game through the sister story in that game. And then I dropped it. God damn it, Bobby, what are you doing? Says, what up, Ranger? I just started the unlock of SLKR. Well, god dang it, get you some propane and get that shit done. Well done, Bobby. Nicely done, sir. I'm very familiar with most lore of Star Wars. I'm very familiar with Arkin and Thexan and their story arc and their sisters and the father and the mother. I'm a Star Wars junkie as much as anything. Star Wars junkie number 1, Lord of the Rings right behind it. than just chronologically down. But I love lore stuff. I'm always listening to lore videos, whether it be Warhammer or I mean, you name it. Lord of the Rings, all that stuff. Think they make it Star Wars Galaxy Heroes? I'd like to see the Eternal Throne family, the Emperor, which is Vitiate incarnate, the mother, the daughter, the two twins, Ark and Thaxan would be cool. I think they'd make a great faction in the game. Absolutely. I think they could make it into the game. I'd like to see the Celestials in the game as well. The brother, the sister, the father. Actually, I'd love to see Abeloth. All right, Clayton, you cheeky bugger. You don't get to leave here and then give me a $10 donation. Good day to you, sir. You get nothing. Good day. A parting shot from Clayton.
Listen,
What?
we're not just doing this for money.
No, we're not.
We're doing it for a shitload of money.
We are doing it for a shitload of money. That's right. Chewy, do you think Plagueis makes it in at some point? Possibly. Could. I mean, absolutely. I don't see why not. I mean, they've got, since they've introduced now Malgus, we've got Starkiller, we've got all these other characters. They're not even canon. There is no, there's the world's the oyster. That's the kids like to say on the streets. Speak of the devil. I mean, the world's their oyster. They can put any characters they want in this game. So at this point, I'd say anything's possible with Star Wars. Anything is possible. Oh, I don't know what they would do. Yeah, Ray, as much as we would all like that, we're not getting a Jabba with the summon of Slave Leia, no. I'm trying to get to the wiki on this. Not really giving me a lot here. Think a Plague Story is in the works at Disney? Well, it could be. Okay, the planet was cool. I couldn't remember the name of the planet. Valkorion. That was the name of the Vitiate reincarnated. So Valkorion, Archon, Thaxan, Valen, and then the mother. And I don't remember her name. Valkorion. I gotta remember that name. I just call him the Emperor. Vitiate reincarnated because that's what he was. Sneaky little bastard. Now I want to know the mother's name. She's a badass too. The mom? Oh my god. Not really telling me. I'd have to read through it. I don't remember her name. Was it Thorough Throne, Valkorion, Archon, Thaxan, Valen, and then the mother, and I can't remember. Was it Senya? Was it Senya? I don't remember, Ray. Well, Vitiate's one of the most, is, in my opinion, one of the most powerful Sith ever to exist. He destroyed planets with the Force. But he had done this thing. He was the Sith Emperor for hundreds of years. But he developed this thing to transfer his essence to another. On top of running the Sith Empire, he formed another empire, the Eternal Throne, the Knights of the Eternal Throne, and their whole shenanigans. He became Valkorion, who became the emperor of this new faction, and then I don't know if he married her, but he had 3 children with this woman. I think it was Senya. Was it Senya? I don't remember right, but it's been a while since I played it. And had the twins Argonathex and then their younger sister Valen. So yeah, all those characters could come into the game, and they're all dope ass characters. It is Senya. Okay, it's been a while since I looked at it. She is absolutely one of the most badass. I actually had her as a companion when I did the whole storyline and stuff. I went and got her, man. She used to follow me all around all the time when I was the Emperor's Wrath, and then everything I did with my character. I mean, the Old Republic for the storyline and the gameplay was fantastic. The PvE was meh. The PvP was bleh. It had its moments, but yeah, the PvE actually, some of the raids were really good, but some of the other stuff was like meh. But you can't argue with the story and the content they put out. The world building, the planets, the story arc that you went through was absolutely phenomenal. I loved all the stories, some more than others. And some I've actually found myself quite intrigued with. The Cypher 9, the Great Hunt. I mean, the Jedi Guardian was pretty standard, hero saves the galaxy kind of thing. The Consular one was kind of okay. It was a little bit okie dokie. But I did like the Sith Sorcerer, the Sith Warrior was really good. Cypher 9 was really good. The Old Republic Special Forces one was really good. The Scoundrel one was actually pretty cool too. So I liked all of them. I thought they were well thought out. The voice acting, I mean, you really were immersed in that world. And and don't get me wrong, I liked the Knights of the Eternal Throne saga. It was really good. But by the time I got through the sister and beat everything, I was like, all right, this is kind of getting a little, it kind of seemed like the same thing over and over again. And I was a little burnt out after years of playing it. Well, they've already said, Charlie, that the Grand Inquisitor is going to come at the end of June. We can get some information on him. He is in the Journey Guide. I can pull that up right now. If we go to the Journey Guide and you go to Solo. Yeah, see, I've already got that, picked up the Grand Inquisitor. So you can see that I've already got the Journey Guide for the Grand Inquisitor. So you can see right here, there's the Grand Inquisitor. And you see, I've already got the journey started. So I just need 4 more of the Inquisitors, and I will have the Grand Inquisitor. There he is in all his glory. Hello, Baldy. So good to see you again. Vampire Nostradamus looking Nosferatu, turd muffin. Oh, I want those. Give me those. I need some. I got moss to slice. Give me the mats. Oh, I know, but I think they're going to have some other announcements, Charlie, for that. So they've already said June was when he was coming out. So maybe sooner. Maybe they changed the timeline, but I'm just saying. Jonathan says, could we get the Jedi Outcast from KOTOR 2? Mitra Cirque. Yeah, I've heard some people mention Mitra. Possibly. I don't know. But again, anything's at this point possible, folks. Anything's possible. If we go back, if we go back a year, we were just getting the Bad Batch finishing up and getting into JMK. None of us had any inkling that they were even thinking about doing Legends characters. Like Starkiller and Malgus and Mara Jade and all these characters that we love. So at this point, you name it, it's a possibility. The only ones that I'm pretty sure are not coming in, I know Jar Jar is Jar Jar and what's his name, Watto, are not anytime soon. It's not a 0% chance, but as I've talked to Crumb on streams before, it's pretty close to 0 as we can possibly get. So yeah. But anything is possible at this point. Outside of that. Hondo's a possibility. All these characters are a possibility. I mean, it really is. So, I mean, if you can think of a Legends character, well, you're not going to get it. You get nothing, sir. Good day. He said no, Jar Jar. No Jar Jar GL, yeah. Not on the cards at the moment. But you never want to say never. I mean, and when I first started, I mean, I never thought we would ever get characters like Malgus, for Christ's sakes. I mean, my God, there's Malgus. Look at him. He's coming to the game, for God's sakes. That means that Teal Sean can come to the game. That means other characters from the Old Republic MMORPG can come. It's not a 0% possibility, George, but as Crumb said, it's next close to zero as it possibly right now. So Jar Jar is on the lower end of the possibility of coming into the game. So, and I, for one, am happy to hear that because I don't want Jar Jar in the goddamn game. Oh, my simmed pit rewards. Stun cuffs are nice. Those are poopy. No, they're not too poopy. We do need it for a couple. Okay, so we get a couple of those that need that. Misa no have a boomba. I'm using this one, Jaja. On Jaja using the boomba. Misa no have a boomba. On using this one. Mm-hmm. We'll see. You cannot forget the lines from Star Wars. You just, even if you don't like, I can't stand, other than Duel of the Fates, can't stand episode 1. Oh, episode 2 is even worse for me. And episode 3, I love me some episode 3. Yeah, Porkins was another one. Yeah. Just, I mean, I didn't find Jar Jar hilarious. I didn't find Jar Jar entertaining at all. I mean, he was a character. I don't think he added anything to the story. It's just one of those things where, you know, I know why he was in there as comedic relief and to be the goofy character, the sidekick, that kind of thing. It didn't have the same kind of impact that the original version did with 3PO and R2 and their dynamic. I just never felt that with Jar Jar. No, Revenge of the Sith is one of my favorite ones of all time, Charlie. Episode 1 and 2. I mean, don't get me wrong, Duel of the Fates, I can watch that all day long. I love Duel of the Fates. And I love watching the end of Attack of the Clones because of especially with the Yoda whipping out that lightsaber and going to town. But yeah, I love Revenge of the Sith. It's one of my favorite ones. Nine Numb. No, Revenge of the Sith is one I really love. I love Revenge of the Sith. I think it's a fantastic movie. Really a fantastic movie. But 1 and 2, there's moments in there I like to watch, but then I can't sit through all of it. Now, Rogue One's my favorite movie of all time. Star Wars. I think it goes Rogue One, and then Empire, Revenge of the Sith, and then original Star Wars, Return of the Jedi, and then you can put the other ones wherever you want to put them. If I had to go, like, if you held a gun to my head. But yeah, but Rogue One's still my favorite one of all time. Which is crazy to say because Empire's still always been one of my favorite movies. Yeah, it's Rogue One, Empire, Revenge of the Sith. Yeah, episode 4, then episode 6 are my top 5 Star Wars films. The rest ones I could, they're on, I'll watch them, but I'm not over the moon about them. Again, they have great moments. All of them are really good, but there's just a lot of it that I just was like, meh. Yeah, the stuff at the end of episode 2, the beginning of the Clone Wars was cool, Charlie, but I mean, even then it was kind of like, okay. Yeah, the stuff with Geonosis was cool, but other than that, it's like, getting up to that point, it was like, oh my god, it was horrible. Yeah, the stuff between Anakin and Padme, oh my god, it's horrible. It's hard to watch. Just, ugh. God damn. Ugh. Now, there's some people out there that swear by number 1 and 2, and hey, I have no hate toward you. Film is subjective. Shows are, entertainment, art is subjective. If you love those films, I ain't hating on you. Just for me, I actually like Solo a lot. Yeah, I thought it wasn't a bad movie either. Well, Harrison Ford was a little too old for that role at that time. I know why they did what they did, but I actually enjoyed Solo quite a lot. I thought it was a really good movie. I enjoyed Solo. I thought it was a good film. Had a lot of good little Easter eggs and nuggets in there too. Luke says, I only appreciate the prequels for the memes. I hate sand. It's cold. It gets everywhere. That's true. It does. And I really liked episode 7. 8 was hot and cold for me. 9 was okay. There was really good stuff in 9, but there was also stuff in 9 I was like, oh God, they're really trying to tie it all together. This is not going to work. I kind of like, Michael, you know, I'm kind of hoping Ness does make an appearance in Andor. I would really like to see that. That would be kind of dope. That's a good suggestion. She'd be a little bit older at that point. That would be kind of cool to see Ness make an appearance. I would love to see that. And I'd love to see the same actress come in there and play the part. We need more gingers in the movies, damn it. And that's not coming. And I'm not just saying that because I'm ginger. I'm saying that because I think she's a good character. Oh, I don't. You misunderstand me, Charlie. It's not that the movie itself was bad. Actually, I always share the story. I had my mom watch, and she's not, you know, she likes the Star Wars films, but she's not like a nut like I am. She really loved the movie. She thought it was fantastic. There's quite a lot to like about Episode 9, but the problem with Episode 9 is they just had to retcon and redo so many things. It just was too much, and it was just too compacted, and that's because what they did in Episode 8 didn't tie well with Episode 7, so they tried to wrap it up in Episode 9. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of stuff in Episode 9 that I like, but there's some things that I just shake my head at like, no. Sorry. No. That doesn't work. Just doesn't work. But, I mean... But if you love Episode 9, I mean, by all means. I think Cubs loves Episode 9 a lot, and I'm okay with that. It's like, cool. I don't love it as much as you. But, I mean, you know, you like what you like. You don't like it? Okay. If you do, you know. I know, Star Wars fans, but you gotta understand where they're coming from. I mean, it just... Some people's tastes and their personalities and what they enjoy seeing is just different. I'm not going to argue with someone about like why they don't like something or like something, you know? I mean, I'm a big anime fan. There are people out there that don't even know what the hell anime is, let alone they've seen it and don't like it. Okay, that's cool. It's more for me, so... The only problem I have with Episode 8 is not so much I really like the Snoke stuff and everything like that, but the Finn stuff just doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. Just the whole chase sequence doesn't work for me. It just doesn't. It did not make sense. But I love the Rey Luke stuff. I love the Rey Kylo stuff. I thought it was in the whole Snoke scene. Trust me, I've got the damn scene behind me, and there's some Snoke behind me on the throne with Rey and that version of SLKR going at it. So yeah. Oh yeah, Bryce Dallas is hot as hell, and she's a hell of a director. Some of her episodes in Mandalorian and in Book of Boba Fett are some of my favorite of the shows. She learned from the best. You guys don't know her daddy was Ron Howard. Opie. And Richie Cunningham from Happy Days. Went on to direct a ton of great movies. Yeah, I mean... So this is the problem I have with Episode 8. The only problem I have. I like the opening and everything. when the chase first started, I'm like, cool, right? And but the whole they're being chased, they need extra fuel and all this other stuff, so a ship leaves the fleet as it's being chased to go get this. It didn't work for me. And they went to the casino planet to get the thing of this and that to do this, and it's like, no, it was too convoluted. It didn't work for me. It just didn't work for me. The other parts worked really well for me. The whole dynamic between Luke, Rey, Kylo Ren, Snoke, I like that stuff. Well, I forgot she is a ginger. I guess I didn't race her. Yeah, I mean, he made not so much a Star Wars film. He made a Rian Johnson film, and don't get me wrong, Rian Johnson's a really good director. I like a lot of his movies. So, do you feel Star Wars has gotten too woke? No, I don't think so at all. I don't really give. I'm not into the whole woke shit. I mean, I'll put it this way: I don't care who the main antagonist is, whether it's a man or a woman. I don't give two shits who it is. I care about what are their motivations. Who are they? Why are they doing what they do? And what is their personality? Can I relate to them, even if they are a villain, right? So I could care less about any of that stuff. I don't care if the lead's a woman. I don't care if the lead's a man. I don't care. I just care that it's a good character that I can get behind and follow. That's it. Give me a good character that's good underlying psychological underpinnings that I can relate to, that I find the character interesting and fascinating on many different levels and motivated by their ups and downs, and I'm hooked. I don't care if it's a man or a woman. I could care less. You know, I don't get into the again, I could care less. I don't look at any of that other stuff. I just look at who's the character, what are they playing, what is it that they're trying to represent, and that's all I care about. Yeah, I don't think Star Wars. I just tell you guys now. I'm just gonna kill the conversation. I just don't. Woke just doesn't matter to me. I don't look at stuff like that. I just look at what are you trying to convey to me. You know, and I even look at if there's a political statement there. Sometimes it's warranted and it hits, and sometimes it doesn't. You know, there's certain movies and certain genres or certain ways that you've got to tie in that stuff. You know, what are the political ties to things? Because, you know, we have to relate that to when you can relate it to the real world, and you can relate it to the movies or the shows that you're watching. You know, so, but I look for that stuff. How well is it written? What are they trying to, what's the story they're trying to tell? Is the character telling the story? Am I interested in that character? What are their motivations? And the rest of the stuff is immaterial to me. It could be. I don't know if it's liberal ideology. I just don't see that. I don't care about terminology like this. Yeah, I think they did miss the mark on Rey a little bit. I thought she was I was really tied into Rey after episode 7. I was really fascinated, and I think they missed their chance because if you look through a lot of the heroes, those everyday heroes, a lot that we relate to, are not heroes that have a background that ties into anything. It's just or if Rey had just been a simple girl drawn into this conflict and had to figure things out, you know, I mean, I think that would have worked a hell of a lot better than being made a Palpatine. I didn't like the Palpatine angle. You know, I think it shrinks the universe when you did that. If she'd been her own storyline, maybe her parents did sell her for, you know, into slavery. You know, just got rid of her. I think that would have been more fascinating, that she was a nobody that's risen to prominence. I think those kind of characters and stories are really fascinating. You know, even throughout history and literature and stuff like that. Those characters really, I relate to those characters a lot more. Yeah, they could have done more with Finn too. I think his story could have been fascinating as well. I mean, a stormtrooper that develops a conscience, you know, I mean, that would have been, and to see him kind of develop over time, I think would have been really cool too. I really would have liked to see them do some more with Finn too, but they didn't, and it's just a shame, but it is what it is. I didn't really care about her abilities because the Force acts in mysterious ways. If you've read the books, the Force does some crazy shit in the books. I'm not so much, I don't care that the Force chose her, you know, in some sort of way. But how does she deal with that? You know, when you're, one of my favorite characters in all of literature is Randall Thor, the Dragon Reborn. He is one of the greatest antagonists I have ever read. He just does, I mean, he is a Dragon Reborn, he's the chosen one, but his story arc and what he goes through to get to where he gets to at the end of his story and what happens is phenomenal. It was not easy. It was hell on earth. He went up and down. He lost his mind. He went insane. He went through all the ups and downs of just all kinds of stuff. And I think that's what you kind of have to do. It's kind of like when you give people power-ups for no reason, it just takes away from the story. But if it's earned, either through training or through what they experience, I think it makes it for a better, story. I just think that those, you know, those stories really connect to me more than others. She could have been. I don't know about the whole Luke storyline. That could have been a thing. She could have been a young girl. Maybe her memory was wiped. But I mean, there's a cadre of ways they could have gone with the storyline, but they didn't, and they made her Palpatine, and I think that was a missed opportunity. They could have done the twins. I mean, in the books, Han and Leia have, of course, if you guys know or don't know, they had twins, Jaina and Jason Solo. They also had a third younger son, Anakin Solo, and the twins were prominent in the books. I mean, especially Jaina. I've got her figure behind me. Their story is fascinating. That could have been a thing that they could have done too. Well, people are going to interpret it. If they want to say it's woke, then it's not ideology or terminology that I ever use to describe. When I'm looking at something, I just look at it for what it is. You know, I don't try to add anything to it. I agree with you on that. I think one of the reasons why Marvel movies have been so successful, whether you like them or not, you cannot deny the success of the Marvel franchise, is because they all link together. Even though they're all different movies that can kind of stand alone on their own, they had that plan that, you know, even though these were like, for instance, Captain America's The Winter Soldier. It had his own story. It was a spy thriller, but it had those elements that tied into the other movies. Subtle as they may be, they were still linked to the other stuff, but it told a different story just about Captain America. I think if they'd done I think you're right with that Windows 73, if they'd taken all three of the Star Wars movies, made them one cohesive story from episode 7 to 9, I think it would have done a lot better. But it was too helter-skelter. They brought in J.J. Abrams, and he told the story, but then, you know, Rian Johnson came in, and he wanted to do something different and flip things on his head, and it just completely, it didn't work, you know. Individual stuff in there I like, but again, the overall story I think is just too disjunct. It just was too. It just didn't work. It wasn't linked. It's just like, well, why is this happening? Is what? You know, you just said shake your head sometimes at it. So yeah, that could have been the smarter play, and I think Feige has really. He's done a brilliant job. I mean, you can say what you want about the Marvel movies, but they're good, they're fun, they're entertaining. They do different kinds of stories, but they're all linked. There's always that underlying story that this is the universe that we created. There may be individual stories, and they're phenomenal movies that tell these individual stories, but they do link to the bigger world, and I've always loved that about the Marvel movies. And that's why I'm excited for them to get X-Men and Fantastic Four and stuff, bringing that shit home. Oh, baby, let's go. But we'll see. We'll see what happens. I mean, I think if they were smart with the Star Wars films, they would get out of the the Skywalker saga. They jump 200 years into the future, and they just go a different route. Well, I know what they were going for, Luke, at that point. What I would like to have seen, if that was the route they were going to go, is Rey redeeming Luke. Making Luke, who's, you know, we don't, I mean, the loss of his students and the temple and everything that he went through, share that story. Share that story through Rey learning about him. But then make it Rey bringing Luke, instead of the direction they went with Rey, make it to her journey to bring Luke back into the fold. I think that would have been a better story, you know, and that dynamic of those two going back and forth about the Force and what's right and what's wrong, right? You know, that would have made that a better story, I think. I don't mind Luke throwing the lightsaber over his shoulder, but then everything that happened afterwards was like, okay, but I'm not getting enough here to understand. I know why you're this way, but give me more. And then I think you make Rey be the one that brings him out of that, his darkness. I mean, really, Luke was in a dark place. You know, he'd suffer trauma. Okay, talk about the trauma, explain the trauma, overcome the trauma, and make where Luke and Rey come. I would have liked to have seen, instead of the confrontation with just Rey, Kylo, and Snoke at the end, Luke and Rey confronting Snoke and Kylo at the end. If you're going to do that with Luke, but then you have to build him back up, you know, and say, you know, here's a man that's been broken down, has lost everything, and has become this hermit. Cool. Where do we go from there? And I think Rey should have been the light that pulls him out of that. And then in episode 3, you know, you can do a whole thing with it. I mean, you really could have done something different in that direction, but they went a different direction, so it is what it is. All right, we'll go for a few more minutes here, then we're going to wrap it up. Don't worry, I'll be back tomorrow. Well, remember, guys, tomorrow for the lunch stream, if I'm not back starting on time, it's because I'm still at the VA. Don't worry, the most will be an hour later, hopefully. But I should be back in time. If not, then, hey, I'll start it. I'll get the lunch stream in, and then tomorrow I'll be on the GA Center with Nev, and then Friday, probably we'll miss the lunch stream. I got to see what's going on outside. And then, but we'll definitely be back Friday night for happy hour, and then Saturday morning we'll have Jedi Academy. I don't know, Charlie. We could, because it is going to be Star Wars Celebration next week. We also have the Kenobi show coming next week, next Friday, which I'm over the moon about. We're getting the first 2 episodes, and I will be showing those in Discord for everybody. So, yeah. Rambam went live. Oh, no. Not Rambam. Oh, no, not that guy. Just to let you know, guys know, tomorrow we did not get another GL on the front wall again, so I'm not going to do GAC tonight. We'll do it tomorrow. We'll talk about it when I'm a little bit more not tired and coherent and not been outside all day getting my ass kicked. So we'll do GAC tomorrow during the lunch stream. That's mainly going to be our focus. We'll do GAC tomorrow during the lunch stream. So we'll round it up. If you guys have any other questions or anything, you can pop those into the chat. Don't know. And even if I did know, if I was still part of the beta program, Charlie, the answer would be I can either confirm or deny the existence of any character in the Star Wars beta program. I have some idea what's coming out, but we're reaching the point where even I don't even. Some things I know, but some things I just don't know. So, prediction-wise, I don't know if it's going to be another character like Sword. I think it's going to be more traditional characters. What those will be, I don't know. We just talked about it earlier. There's more marquees coming. So we'll see what those will be. I think if they're going to tie, we'll see. It'll give us a little bit of insight of which direction they're going. I think it's 8th brother became before 5th brother. So I think you got those mixed up, Mr. Bone. I think it'll be 8th brother come farmable next week, and then 5th brother going into the stores, which makes sense because, and the meeting ended. Oh, you guys don't need to see my mug anyway, because we're getting ready to wrap it up. I don't know, Charlie. I don't know. Even when I was a beta tester, I tested stuff, but that doesn't mean, one, it was coming to the game. Two, if it was coming to the game, when it was coming to the game. I wasn't privy to that information. So I don't know. I know he'll be back next week because it's Celebration. So I think he's still on paternity leave this week as well, and then he should be back next week, hopefully. We'll have our good old mutton chops crumb. Yeah, so it'll definitely be 8th farmable, and then 5th will be the last one. That is correct. What else? 93. Will he do a puzzle for the next GL? I would bet money he would, but I don't know. You know, life with the new baby can change things. So how much time does he have to commit to doing a puzzle? I don't know, but I'd love for him to do it. I mean, Crumb loves his puzzles. If you've ever seen me do the streams I did when we were raising money for his foundation, then holy Jesus. Holy moly in the frijoles. All right, last call for questions or anything like that. They're going to wrap this up on this Wednesday night stream. Charlie, glad to have you here, my friend. Have a good night as well. Making a last call. Closing time. No, I don't have enough for that. All right. I'm going to do some laundry and get my ass to bed here in a minute. As is tradition. Well, first I have to go say goodnight, buddy, because if I don't, he gets all whiny. If they stay on the Wednesday, I don't know if they're going to go back to Monday. If they do, it'll either be the 6th or the 8th of June. And I'm looking at the calendar right now. It could be the 1st. If it's not the 1st, then maybe they go back to Monday as a normal schedule on the 6th, or they go to the 8th. Don't know. Those are the 3 dates I'm kind of looking at right now. Bobby Samuel, last question before I get out of here. I just dropped my first SLK battle. How many did you drop? I don't think I dropped any in the early ones. Let me go look at this real quick. It's been a while since I did this, Bobby. I think I dropped 1 on the final battle, which really sucked. Who did I use here? Hux, Red Lobster, for course. I think I used Officer and I used Stormtrooper. Yeah, I think Grid has it. We'll do this battle real quick. Again, it's been a minute since I've done this fight. I know Finn's your first target. Or I'm Kylo Ren, but I'm really OG Kylo. Alright, let's do this to you. Stun. Concentrate all 4 of high power. You gotta take out Finn. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Oh, I forgot about the non-AoE. Okay, take him out. Then we want to get you out of there. Screw you, BB-8. Alright, we gotta get BB-8 out of there. Let's get that shit off. Of course. Maybe we get Ray out of there. I know BB-8's a nightmare to deal with. There we go, got him. Alright, now we just got Ray. Don't have to worry about 3PO. It's kind of how you play it. I had all the Zetas on. I don't. The ones I know for sure is Hux is definitely one. First Order Stormtroopers one. I'll go look here real quick on what ones I don't have on if I have any missing. But I pretty much went in there with the team fully formed. I mean, they're all the level that they were for you, same as you would have them right now. Yeah, I had Hux. I know First Order Stormtrooper was one. Yeah, I had Sith Trooper, Hux, Stormtrooper, Officer doesn't have one, and then I definitely had the two for crew. And I'll tell you, people make this mistake all the time. Might as well cover it here. When you get to the final battle, there's a certain order that you want to do, and there's a certain team you want to use. So when you get to the final stage of the battle, and it's going to be the same for 4, 5, and 6. I'll just go to 6. So you still want to use the same team. There's no... Well, no, you don't want him. You want him. And you don't want him. You want him. You definitely want the two guys to speed up. Red Lobster, and you want First Order Stormtrooper. You can go with Kylo Ren if you want, but I like Stormtrooper a little bit better. In a certain order you want to kill these turd muffins, in a certain way you want to do it. Okay. Okay, you want to poke Finn. Always poke Finn first. And then you're going to go here. You're going to do this. You're trying to build Kylo up as quickly as possible. What does this do? Let's switch that. And then it doesn't really matter. I always choose Finn. And then I've got them both. Now they're both in big trouble. So let's... They already have advantage, so I don't need to do that. Let's just use the basic here. Now, he's going to die. That's fine. Now, I'll do the big hit, because they've both been in... Finn should die. Then we get him out of there. And then it's just a matter of... You're going to lose another one. That's fine. Again, speed up Kylo. He's going to go poke. Just hit Rey. Let's do a basic here. Just get the mark on. Okay. Let's do this. Let's do this to Kylo. And keep poking. Again, buffing him up. It's just a matter, you're just building his stacks up. Do this on him. Poke. Get the extra damage. Let's do some mastery stealing. Okay, do this, him, poke. Again, just building him up. Now he's at 300. Just a matter of time. And at this point, once you've got him built up this fast, then you've got it. Because you're eventually going to build up your damage to where she can't do anything. Barring some crazy RNG. Just want to get that on her. I'm going to save that. Poke. Let's do this. Poke again. Again, just building up. Eventually, at this point, it's just building him up. Taking him out. I mean, his stacks are building. She's going to die. At this point, she can't win. You can see the damage already being sustained. And then you win. Poke Finn, poke him. Use the buff. Do an AoE. Clear those two as quickly as possible. And then go kill Ray. And you just you're going to lose the rest of your guys, but you're going to build him up. And once you get to about 280 to 300, you've got it in the bag. Lord Megatron, what's going on? You caught us just as we're getting ready to get out of here, brother. All right. Let's see. What do I need to do? Oh, I was going to get some furnaces before I got out of here. I need to go do some laundry. Let's see how many we can get here. Multiply. See if we get. Oh, we got 2. 145. I mean, we're building up our furnaces. Yay! But yeah, I think if you have those Zetas in that team, you can beat the first one and the second tier. Now the third one is just the paper, rock, scissors, Bobby. And that's just remember the numbers 2, 1, 3, 1. Use the second ability, use the first. Use his third ability, use his first, and then repeat the cycle. 2, 1, 3, 1. Always go 2, 1, 3, 1. What's going on, big Megatron? Just wrapping it up, man. We've been streaming for an hour and a half plus. So I'm getting ready to go because I got to be up early in the morning to go to my appointment for the VA, and I got some laundry to do. So I've been streaming, and don't worry, we'll be back tomorrow for the lunch stream, my friend, and we'll do some GAC then. And then tomorrow night I'll have the GA Center with me and your boy Nev, and we'll knock that out. And then we'll have Friday. I don't think I'll have a lunch stream. It depends if my mom wants to do what she wants to do outside, and then I'll be outside all day trying to get that shit done. So I'll be up early knocking that crap out, and then but Friday night I'll be back for happy hour. That's still going to happen, and then Saturday we'll have the Jedi Academy. So there you go. All right. Sorry you came at the tail end there, Lord Megatron, but I do have to end the stream. So with that, we're going to call this one done. So on behalf of myself and everybody here, have a great rest of your evening. I'll see you tomorrow. Everybody have a great rest of your day. Love you guys. Hit the thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. And we will